All right, we are live, we are live, we are live. I want to welcome everyone today to another episode of the Leadership Standard. I am your host, Buchi Law, and I'm excited to be here today as we discuss on more issues that pertain to the failure of leadership, the failure of the Nigerian process, as well as the failure of the African leadership going on in Africa right now. But our core concern is what's going on in Nigeria. So if you're just joining, please hit the like, subscribe button, and let's start. We will be talking, first of all, on an issue that came up recently with the former Senate President of Nigeria, who was indicted as well as convicted for, organ trafficking, first of its kind ever in Nigeria. You have to understand that it takes a special kind of grace to be a Nigerian, as well as to face daily issues of injustice, corruption. You call it, name it, whatever it is, okay? It takes a special type of grace. Because at the end of the day, when you look at what's going on in Nigeria, as well as the leadership of Nigeria, you realize that there's been a lot of failure. All right? There's been a lot of failure. And people have to live with that failure every single day. So let me share this story, okay? Let's see. So this is a story I wanted to talk to you about, right? This is a story, and this is courtesy of Sky News, okay? It's courtesy of Sky News. Let's play it.
And that is that a
It's courtesy of
Nigerian
Sky
politician.
News. 1 second. Let me see why the audio is not playing. We must understand that what it means is every single day, people wake up every day and have to face the reality of what it means to be a Nigerian. It's a hard reality. It's a hard life. It's a very hard life. It's a very hard reality. Whether you like it or not, it is not as easy as you think it is.
We just got some breaking news from the Old Bailey, and that is that a Nigerian politician. We just got some breaking news from the Old Bailey, and that is that a Nigerian politician has been found guilty of an organ harvesting plot that involves a British hospital. We just got some breaking news from the Old Bailey, and that is that a Nigerian politician has been found guilty of an organ harvesting plot that involves a British hospital. It's the first case of its kind. So Senator Ike Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and a medical middleman called Dr. Obina Obeta were all found guilty at the Old Bailey of conspiring to exploit a young man from Lagos in Nigeria for his body part. Their daughter Sonia was cleared of the same charge, and the victim was a 21-year-old street trader from Lagos. He was brought to the UK last year to provide a kidney to their daughter Sonia in an £80,000 private transplant at the Royal Free Hospital in London. So the first case of its kind in which a Nigerian politician has been found guilty of an organ harvesting plot involving a British hospital, a private £80,000 private transplant, the Royal Free Hospital.
There you have it. There you have it. You can see exactly what it means. What it means. You see, when you see stories like this, you realize that it is only because he was caught outside that was why there was even a swift prosecution. Things like this go unnoticed in Nigeria. Their body parts are being used, abused. People are being used and dumped on the side for rituals. This is pretty much rituals. All right. Even though I understand that the body parts of this young man was meant to be used to help the daughter of the Senate president, if you look at it closely, it is rituals, because at the end of the day, the boy was not even, he wasn't told the full story. It was just picked up, poor boy, and decided to be used and dumped. All right. But Mercy said no. Now, that young man has been a catalyst to changing the legal framework of even the UK. And now, the UK, the British people, the British economy, British legal system, they ultimately would have to live with that experience that the Nigerian came into their system to carry out organ harvesting. So let's move on out of that story because, that is a very sad story. But again, it is a story that requires you to understand what it means to be a Nigerian and smiling. And at the end of the day, they still have to wake up every single day acting like it's all is well, when we know literally that all is not well, right? So in the past couple of weeks, there were stories about the Chief Justice of Nigeria being outside of, traveling outside of Nigeria, right? And going to other places to, to go meet the president elect. So we're going to talk about that. What do you think about that? The Chief Justice of Nigeria leaving Nigeria to go meet president elect in a case of multiple issues or multiple cases going on in Nigeria right now about the elections, right? There were some election issues. The election tribunal petitions have been going on by the Labour Party, PDP, but now the Chief Justice of Nigeria has been allegedly traveling president-elect. But to rebuff that, they had to show him coming out of, whether it's the courts for prayers. So this is how it went. This is how that went.
So Ima, let's go. Ima, where's Ima? Okay. Ima, where's Ima? Okay.
So that's the Chief Justice of Nigeria. In the wake of claims that he traveled to go see the president-elect Tinubu, he had to come out and say, listen, this is not what it seems it is. This is not what exactly it seems it is. I don't know what you guys are talking about. At the end of the day, it is up to Nigerians to decide if such an act happened or not. But a lot of Nigerians believe that such act actually happened. That there was a visit that happened with the president-elect and the Chief Justice of Nigeria in the wake of cases that is being brought against, the election that occurred in February. And a lot of people saw that election. A lot of people have claimed that is not even an election. But that is up to Nigerians to decide. Nigerians are saying they don't want that election. There was enough rigging to go around. People are aware that there was enough rigging. They don't want that election. Everyone is tired. But we'll see how things unfold in the coming days. But now let us go back to a sort of a silver lining in leadership. I call it a situation that could have turned out differently, but because of a core leadership structure, the people involved said no. And that is about the Abia State election. Let's watch this video. It's probably going to give you more context about what I'm talking about.
Yes, he has already done that. Thank you. At this point, therefore, we shall proceed with the proceedings of the day. I now call on the EO and the OC of Obingwa to present their results accordingly. Thank you. Are they here? Thank you. Pollution activities. Yes. Yes, he has already done that. Thank you.
So that was pretty much a short clip of the lady who was involved in the Abia State's, collection center. She was one in charge of it. And she ensured that there was going to be the leadership of Alex Oti because he won the election, despite the massive rigging that was meant to occur. She said no. She ensured that there was going to be leadership. She ensured that people were going to come out there and their votes would count. And that is what she did. So that's a big ups for her. So I wanted to show her. That's the lady right there. She stood her grounds and ensured that people who voted, their votes counted. Now, before I conclude for today, I want to show you a video of the former NBA president talking about in the coming weeks or days, even with this election tribunal that's going on. A lot of people don't know that the election tribunal could just end up becoming a phase. It could just end up becoming just something that people just tick off the box, like, oh yes, there was an election tribunal in this case, like so many other cases in Nigeria, and this was the outcome. People move on. Peter Obi would ultimately move on. Obedience would also ultimately move on. But at the end of the day, people will still see that there was injustice, that there was corruption, that there was all types of wrongful actions and wrongful doings. They will see it. They would have to see it by themselves. But let's play this video so that you guys can understand the atrocities going on.
Elections, I think they're in the grave already.
How confident are you that our courts will do justice in these petitions?
I've lost a bit of confidence in what the courts have been doing lately. I mean, there was a time you could say, oh, on the facts and the law, this is the likely outcome. Today you cannot, because there have been all kinds of silly decisions. The most silly was that concerning the president of the Senate, who, in order to become Nigerian president, rushed off to buy a ticket to be a presidential candidate of the APC. And that meant he did not take part in the senatorials. Lo and behold, he lost. He now ran back after the horse had bolted, clearly to anybody who has any brain, including the justices of the Supreme Court, I might add. And they said no, that the man actually should be the senatorial candidate. That is the most ridiculous decision I've ever heard that the Supreme Court had delivered. So that's why it's difficult. Of course, I don't want to talk about the case of Imo State, where everything was turned upside down. So I don't have the sort of confidence that I used to have in the judiciary. And I've not been surprised if this thing goes one way or the other. I cannot forecast the outcome. I have the legal tools and the factual issues. So if I put it into my computer, I know what answer it will give me. But I'm not part of the panel. So I don't know whether the justices will see it the way I'm seeing it. But I can tell you from my own perspective as a lawyer.
So there you go. Nobody understands what's going to happen. All right. So if you are out there being hopeful that Peter Obi is going to win this election tribunal, you might as well just start having daydreams, because nobody knows, and it's very, very likely that he might still end up losing in the election petition. But anyways, that's all my time for now. I want to thank you all for being here. Welcome, and please subscribe and follow the Leadership Standard for more updates. Thank you and have a great day.